Good morning, Vietnam. Let's see here. Okay. What's up, everybody? Matt Nuzzo here at Reel to talk to you about two of our favorite new twin tips at Reel, the North Atmos and the North Focus. So North Atmos and Focus are going to come in two different constructions. One is this is kind of like the free ride, freestyle, like, get super lit, edge hard booster. This is more rockered out, higher performance, like wake style-y type of board, bigger, fatter twin tips. And we'll get into what and why and everything. They're coming in two different constructions. So each of these boards are going to come in the carbon construction. The Atmos I've got here is the carbon layup, and then the Focus is in the hybrid construction. So each of these boards will come in a hybrid and a carbon construction. We just got one of each here, so we're gonna kind of talk you through what the different boards are. So Atmos is kind of that board that most riders out there are gonna be going for, kind of that free ride, easy to ride, goes up wind well, a little flatter rocker line, not quite as aggressive channeling. It kind of, goes, small channeling off the tip, single concave, just a very, very easy to ride board. And then when you're getting the Focus, you've got that real heavy duty rocker with not quite as heavy as the wake style, but like quite a bit more than the Atmos. And then it's got a bunch more channeling. So Atmos, this board is really fun to ride. So this is a 38 in the carbon construction, and it's really super, super nice. So I was expecting this board to be too stiff in the carbon construction. A lot of production boards that are in full carbon are just like bricks, just like real stiff, real choppy, like you feel everything, which is cool for kind of like a guy like Nick Jacobson, but not cool for a guy like me who just wants to go back and forth and go boost and do some small tricks compared to what he's doing. So I found this board really accessible in the carbon construction. Hybrid is a little bit softer flex and is definitely even that much more accessible, but the carbon, I was actually really impressed with the performance. I do like the carbon is going to get a little bit lighter weight than the hybrid in the Atmos, but I do like the performance and the rebound that you're getting out of the Atmos. So when you ride this board, you have a really kind of locked in, connected feel, but then when you go to change and do turns and stuff like that, it actually loosens up quite a bit. Like it definitely comes off rail easy, loosens up, and you can kind of rip turns. So they've done a nice job of really flexing out the tips and keeping the center of the board stiff and making sure that you're not getting a lot of this like torsional twisting that you get out of some other boards. So the ride and the feel, as soon as you go out on this board, you're like, wow, this board feels positive, feels good, really good. It's definitely not the lightest weight carbon board I felt, but it does have the performance. That carbon is a really nice add because it gives you that really good positive performance. So when you load it up, gives you good rebound, not quite as much pop because it has a narrower tail, but again, that's why they're going with the Focus too. So that narrow tail, it's going to just blast through chops. So going through choppy conditions, I've ridden in kind of a variety of different locations, and some pretty heavy chop, I was just like plowing through to see what it would feel like. I'd plow through the chop on an edge, go through flat, just to see if I'm going to dive that nose, because it is a little flatter of a rocker line board, and it actually handles kind of everything well. So edging or flat, like you're not going to like dig the nose and go over go over the front. So I was really impressed with this board. Again, this is the board in the North lineup that most people should be riding. They also have the Prime, which is going to be kind of that real soft, super easy to ride board. But even that one, it actually, it's not like it's a beginner board, but it doesn't it doesn't alienate you once you get going. So in the North lineup, I think Atmos, pick your construction, hybrid or carbon. This is the board that most people out there, a lot of people we're teaching, are going to want to get, because it's easy enough to ride for a beginner, but also it's going to allow you to progress because it has those narrow tips. It's going to edge well, it turns well, goes upwind because of that flatter rocker, and it kind of just is a great all-around board. We get over here to the Focus. This is definitely more of a performance beast. You can see the rocker line, quite a bit more rocker. Definitely a lot more aggressive channeling. Not like overkill. A lot of boards, they just go overkill on everything, like crazy channels, and all that stuff does is really just kind of slow you down. So they put some channeling in here so you can get some grip, particularly off the tip. But they did not do it overkill. So it's a really easy to ride board. Definitely blasts through the chop well. It's got a lot wider tip, and it's definitely a lot stiffer, right? So this one's got some flex to it. We found that the carbon version of the Focus was kind of too stiff for us, you know. Again, if you're a high performance rider, the carbon version of this is going to be really nice to get that max load and pop. Where the Atmos lacks is that it lacks that, like, you know, wake style heavy load up and pop for unhook tricks or, you know, kind of lower power tricks. Whereas the Focus really nails it. But we definitely liked the feel of the hybrid construction Focus more than the Carbon Lab. Again, we're average Joes, and they want to make something for kind of be able to. They're changing those constructions, so that someone wants this board with like max pop, max like max takeoff, then go with the carbon construction. You'll be able to load that board up. Again, average Joe, not really going to get the most out of that board, and just going to kind of feel it in your knees a little more. So Focus with that heavier rocker, wider tip and tail is definitely a more of that kind of wake style, more aggressive kind of powered up aggressive style of riding, where your Atmos is going to be a little more of a free ride, easier to ride all around board. One of the awesome things that North did, and this is one of the cool things that you get when you start from scratch, is they address some of the problems that other kiteboarding brands run into just from legacy information. So what I mean by that is that something very simple. Every screw in this board, fin screws, foot strap screws, handle screws, are all the same size screw, right? So if you lose a screw or two screws or something like that for your fins, which are pretty important, you can take your handle off and use those screws from there to put into the handle. I mean, that's just so cool that they put the attention to detail to think of stuff like that and address some of the problems that are going on. The Flex foot straps are very unique. They're really, really comfortable. We were actually super surprised at how comfortable and how good these foot straps are. So much so that we're doing a separate review on it, so you can kind of read more about that. But they're really plush, really adjustable. They're going to go up to about a size 12 foot. You're definitely not fitting like 13 with booties in here. Like, that's just not happening. But maybe if you like cut off a toe or something, but that's not really recommended. So they're very comfortable pads and straps. They do come in two sizes. Got a small, medium, and a large, extra large. Fit most people out there, and do have a lot of tech features. So if you want to know more about the foot straps, go and check out that review there. Handle, like, I don't really ride handles on my boards, but this handle is solid, really sturdy. It's nice and raised up, and it's got a really nice EVA grip. So if you're like body dragging with your board out, you really you've got this thing. Actually, it's a TPU grip, not EVA. So it's just super grippy, even when it's wet or you're wearing gloves, something like that. Like, when you grab this handle, you've got it. So again, paying attention to the small details, that's really what North is about and what they're doing. They want to go for really clean and simple looks, and they kind of just strip out all the unnecessary stuff you don't want. They're taken away, but adding in a host of features kind of behind the scenes, underneath the top sheets and stuff like that, that make these boards really, really high performance. They do come in a range of sizes and constructions, and if you want to find out, like, hey, which board's right for me in the lineup, which one's going to work, give us a call at the shop, 252-987-6000, or you could reach us on the web, realwatersports.com.